listening to the Sports Circus, and I'm Mike Golick.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA, prime Angus, and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all, those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had. Probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. Yes! All right, a big welcome in, everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Everybody also tuning in on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectra, WOW, Charter, and independent cable affiliates in select markets, Hotel TV where applicable. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Thanks for joining us over there as well. Check that group out, folks. Chicago Food Favorites, a fun food group. Talk about your favorite foods, your favorite restaurants, your favorite recipes, whatnot. Make some friends, have some fun. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Now, our friends over at Vacation Buddies want to give you, the listener, a couple of nights in Las Vegas or in Branson, Missouri or in Orlando, Florida, if you can answer a basic trivia question. Let's see what you got, folks. Which NBA superstar has won 6 NBA titles? Is it A, Magic Johnson, B, Shaquille O'Neal, C, Kobe Bryant, D, Michael Jordan? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Again, if you know the answer to this trivia question, which NBA superstar has won 6 NBA championships? Is it A, Magic Johnson, B, Shaquille O'Neal, C, Kobe Bryant, or D, Michael Jordan? 888-576-5777. Remember, Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they do want to give you a couple of nights in Vegas, Branson, Missouri, or in Orlando, Florida. Give them a call, 888-576-5777, and tell them the circus sent you. All right, let's get down to business. So, as we rumble through the summertime, we think about baseball, right? Because baseball, the boys of summer. The NHL is over, and of course, the Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, that would be the Florida Panthers. Get an astounding round of applause. Yes! Of course, we'll get into them a little bit later on in the show. But I wanted to at least mention the Florida Panthers because, man, they absolutely manhandled those little boys from Edmonton. And that's right. The Stanley Cup remains in these United States of America, in case you're keeping score. That's great stuff. Okay, now over to Dodger Stadium. And so they had an interesting situation happen over there, and it was a national anthem situation. But, so, I mean, geez, nothing even happened on the field yet at that time. But guess what? Something did happen on the field. It was before the game, and it was, oh yeah, politics on the field at Dodger Stadium. That's right, folks. They just can't stay away from it, can they? They just have to keep bringing politics into it to one degree or another. And needless to say, there was a national anthem issue in case you're keeping score. And, of course, this is by the LA Times, which is incredibly blue. But let's go ahead and listen to what Jack Harris, the staff writer, has to say. He said, what started out as a subtle act of protest has become national news 3 days after singing and social media personality Neza, whoever the hell that is, performed, yes, a Spanish version of the national anthems at Dodger Stadium. That's ridiculous. I'll tell you why I'm booing, in case you're keeping score. Because she was asked by team employees, by the LA Dodgers, to sing it in English. But no, she had to sing it in Spanish. Come on, man. Can't you follow directions? And so the alleged performer further addressed the situation in an interview with what? CNN. Yeah. Of course, we got to make sure if we're mentioning Blue, well, they've got to be involved too. And they say, actually, she said to them, her full name is Vanessa Hernandez. She said to CNN, quote, "With everything that's been happening, I just felt I needed to stand with my people and show them that I'm with them. And I wanted to represent them that day." Shut up, Vanessa Hernandez, because you were employed for this particular gig by the Los Angeles Dodgers, not by your people. Last time we checked, it wasn't your people that paid you or offered you the gig to do the national anthem in the first place at Dodger Stadium. Now, was it? And of course, Vanessa's performance of the Spanish anthem, a version of the Star-Spangled Banner, of course, commissioned by the U.S. State Department back in 1945. That's right, 80 years ago, under President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, became a viral story after she posted a video where, of course, for social media attention on TikTok. What a big surprise. And of course, oh boy, of an unidentified Dodger employee telling her beforehand that we are going to do the song in English today. So I'm not sure if that was relayed, close quote. Of course, that was a quote. So Vanessa proceeded to sing it in Spanish anyway. Doing so on the same day, thousands gathered downtown and were all those paid protesters, all those no king crap protesters. And, you know, ICE should have scooped every one of them up and sent them back off to their country, wherever the hell they are from. This is the United States of America. You don't like it here? Get the hell out. And unfortunately, this is a problem because, of course, LA being a remarkably blue city, and with the state being run by Gavin Newsom, who is an absolute train wreck of a governor on top of it, what a disaster. This is what happens when the Democrats run the rodeo in California. They go from disaster to debacle, and this is exactly what happened. That's why the military was brought in, just to organize and keep things sort of straight. And then, of course, there are paid protesters from George Soros's people, whoever the hell, that's what I was told anyway. And there were pallets of bricks and all kinds of crap out there ready to be thrown at the military and the police and whatnot. Why? Because they're just doing their jobs. And so back to the LA Times, they say, in email communications with the team leading up to her performance, Vanessa said she asked if she could sing the anthem in both English and Spanish, but was told no, because she would have only 90 seconds to perform the song. And of course, still, she arrived at the stadium, quote, fully thinking that I was welcome to sing in Spanish because nobody told me that in an email thread. No, you can't, close quote. Oh, and then she added, quote, had they told me you can't have any Spanish in there, I would have respectfully declined and not shown up on Saturday. Close quote. No, you know what she would have done? She would have showed up at one of those blasted protests instead. They probably sang the national anthem in Spanish over there anyway. That's right. Chaos and controversy. This is what happens, of course, with the blue team, especially in the blue state of California. And, of course, there's no correlation to Dodger blue with this, but this is exactly what happens in L.A. What a disaster from top to bottom. They wonder why people are leaving California, and they're coming over here to Las Vegas, for example. And, of course, we have those shirts, just like Texas has them. Don't California our Nevada, and don't California our Texas. That's what they say there. And that's exactly what they should say. Keep your crap over there. Keep your politics over there. If you want to come to Vegas, have some fun. Everybody driving up and down Interstate 15 on their way to Vegas, come out, have some fun. Don't bring your politics because we don't want your politics here. Just come out, have some fun, go home and do it back again next week. I'll tell you what, that's probably the great way to do it. That's what I used to do back in the day as well. But, of course, a couple of days ago, a Dodger official told the Times in a statement that she would be welcome back to the stadium. I think they just said that just because they didn't want any extra backlash. So, of course, in a recent interview with CNN, Vanessa said she was, quote, very shocked, close quote, to learn she was welcome back at the ballpark, noting that, quote, 30 seconds after my performance, we actually received the call that said, don't ever call us again. Don't ever email us again. The rest of your clients are never welcome here again. So for me, that kind of feels like a ban, close quote. I feel the same way, and frankly, I wouldn't even have them there. Nonetheless, the Dodgers, of course, they have to play political whatever. Hey, they reaffirmed to CNN that there was, quote, no hard feelings, close quote. Really? Okay. And anyway, a team spokesman confirmed this to the Times and saying, quote, she is certainly welcome back to the stadium. She is not banned from the stadium, close quote. Listen, what a mess. And this is exactly what happens when people get out of line. They think they could do whatever the hell they want. And all that happens is nothing good. And what they do is they divide the people, and they divide the people that want to come out and support the Dodgers, the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. But some people say, you know what, it's too political for me. This is why you keep politics out of sports, folks. It's a big deal. Keep it that way. Back here in a few minutes on The Circus. Don't go anywhere. I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Excellent.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. B-E-E-P-I-N autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
If you'd like to borrow up to $100,000 and get pre-approved in minutes, call the number we'll give you at the end of this commercial. Our lending partners have already loaned millions of dollars to individuals just like you, and we're ready to lend you up to $100,000 if you qualify. Even if your credit is not perfect, you could use the money to pay off high-interest credit cards for home renovation. Applicants will qualify. Loan amount, annual percentage rate, and term will vary depending on creditworthiness. Applying does not guarantee approval. Account approval is subject to verification and confirmation of your credit history and acceptance by a lender. If you choose to apply for a loan through us, a consumer report will be obtained to evaluate your creditworthiness.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average and best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 814-948-0100 or make your selection directly at uppercutchops.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. Check them out, folks. All right, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our affiliates from coast to coast, including our friends over in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM. Thanks for waking up with us. Thanks for driving home with us over on WAUD 1230 on the AM dial. That's home of the Atlanta Braves. Over in Auburn, Alabama, from Columbus, Georgia, over to Montgomery. A big hello to our friends up and down the heartland, all the way out to the West Coast. Everybody driving up and down Interstate 15, I mentioned in the last segment. Well, guess what? That's 101.3 or 101.5 FM and 107.3 FM, Highway Country Radio. Thanks for joining us on that drive between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. And, of course, everybody in LA and other stations as well. Thanks for joining us on our independence there, all the way up to Seattle, to Anchorage, down to Honolulu, CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the Yankees, the 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Plus everybody else on all of our cable affiliates and hotel TV where applicable. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, folks. If you don't know what that is, check it out on Facebook. Lots of fun over there. And by the way, in the first segment, we did a quick trivia question for Vacation Buddies. And listen, in case you missed it, we're going to go ahead and let you know what that is once again for a chance to win a couple of nights over in Branson, Missouri, Las Vegas, right here in Las Vegas, or Orlando, Florida. If you can answer this simple trivia question, which NBA superstar has won 6 NBA titles? Is it A, Magic Johnson, B, Shaquille O'Neal, C, Kobe Bryant, or D, Michael Jordan? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they sure want to give you a couple of nights right here in Vegas or in Branson, Missouri, or Orlando, Florida. If you know the answer to that simple trivia question, 888-576-5777. Call now. All right. I'm going to jump right back into baseball here just because we can. And we mentioned the story with that awful situation at Dodger Stadium. Let's stick with the Dodgers because good old show me the money. Show me the money! Shohei Ohtani. He's in the news yet again. Every day it's always something. But this time it's show me the money, Shohei Ohtani getting hit by a pitch. And Dodgers manager Dave Roberts gets ejected in the third inning. Now, this one is courtesy of Fox Sports. They say Ohtani was hit by a pitch from San Diego pitcher starter Randy Vasquez in the third of the Dodgers win 8-6, with manager Dave Roberts getting ejected after arguing on the field. And at the top of the inning, Dodgers reliever Lou Trevino plunked Fernando Tatis the second time he has been hit by the Dodgers this season. Now, that's not cool. I mean, look, these are professional pitchers, and they have control. They hit batters, well, either A, when they're trying to bust somebody inside, or if they're told to hit somebody. It's real simple. And, of course, Tatis has been terrorizing pitching staffs across Major League Baseball this season. And so why would the Dodgers want to face him? Now let's try to injure him is what they say. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not in the Dodgers organization, but I did used to play baseball. So you never know. So, and of course, in apparent retaliation, Ohtani was hit in the right leg near his knee, drawing heavy boos, of course, from the crowd. Well, guess what? Too bad. That's the game of baseball. And Ohtani knows it too. He knows it. He got hit as part of a probable retaliation. So get over it. So the umpires warned both benches. This way they wouldn't clear. And, well, let's face it, it is a heated rival between the Padres and the Dodgers these days. And these are the two top teams in the National League West. So Roberts came out of the dugout for an animated discussion with crew chief Marvin Hudson along the third base line, apparently upset that his team had been warned, and Roberts grew increasingly angry while gesturing sharply, if you know what I mean. Oh, these are fun. I miss the days of Billy Martin running out of the Yankees dugout, kicking dirt onto the umpire's shoes and all kind of crap like that. Boy, that was fun. Third base umpire Trip Gibson joined in as soon and tossed Roberts from the game. It was the manager's first ejection this season and the 13th of his career. Now, Andy Pages went 4 for 4, hitting a pair of 2-out homers and driving in another run during a 5-run sixth when the Dodgers batted around, taking an 8-3 lead. Will Smith hit a tie-breaking 2-run homer to cap a 12-pitch at bat in the sixth to help the Dodgers eventually win the game. And Jeremiah Estrada, 2 for 4, took the loss. He's 2-4. And, of course, Ohtani struck out 4 times. That's right. He struck out 4 times. Yeah, you heard it right. Ohtani struck out 4 times. That's right, a night after making his pitching debut, which stunk in the first place. And by the way, his pitching debut, in case you missed it, so he gets out there for 1 inning. And I'm watching this and saying, okay, Ohtani's actually a better pitcher than he is a hitter. In case you don't know that, you better learn about this guy. And he is a very good player. He's not a great player, but he's a very good player. As a pitcher, I think he's got pretty good stuff. But what I didn't like about this is, look, the guy can throw hard and he throws off-speed pitches and all kind of stuff. But what I don't like is when a pitcher is such a big superstar that they get calls that they shouldn't get. And you know they have that strike zone, that box that when you watch the game on TV, if it's in the box or if it's touching the box, it's a strike. Well, Ohtani's getting calls. He got 3 calls, mind you, out of 28 pitches. 3 calls that were clearly, folks, they were clearly out of the strike zone, low and away. He didn't want to come inside because he didn't want to get taken out of the yard. But the reality is, this guy's getting pitches that were nowhere near the strike zone. When I say nowhere near, right next to that box. And these are for professional pitchers, folks. This guy was getting calls that he should not have received. And so it's obvious Ohtani was not ready, but they really are short of pitching. And Sasaki's been shut down. And so what are they stuck with now? Well, they're stuck with a pitching staff that really can't go the distance. Watch for the Dodgers to make some moves at the trade deadline. And don't be surprised if they don't make a deal again with what? The Chicago White Sox. Remember, Michael Kopech pitches for them, and Michael Kopech came from the Chicago White Sox as well, just like Dylan Cease did from the Padres, a very, very good pitcher that he threw a no-hitter last year. But the White Sox have a couple of good arms in that team, and watch and see if the Dodgers don't make a deal. Remember, the Dodgers and the White Sox co-inhabit that spring training facility over there in Arizona. And so they make deals with them, with each other, and I have to say that they could probably land one of those young starting pitchers from the White Sox who is rebuilding anyway. So it's not like, look, they're stuck in last place. They're not going anywhere. And so you say, well, geez, you got to start somewhere. And they do have some really good arms, and they're pretty deep in the farm system. So the White Sox could actually pick up some very good prospects and some good players that are just not in the Dodgers' plans. And there are some guys, and I know a lot of people would not agree with this, but a guy like Kike Hernandez would fit in well playing every day in Chicago. And yes, he would go from first to worst, but then he would be a regular out there, and he wouldn't be stuck hitting 220, 230, whatever he's hitting. And the guy basically is a Swiss Army knife, and he plays everywhere. And I think Kike Hernandez would be really upset to go to the White Sox. Remember, when he was with the Boston Red Sox, he just went there just to go because that's what he did. He's a team player. He said, okay, where do you want me to go, team? All right, so he came back to the Dodgers, and he was part of course, the World Series. But ultimately, I think they could deal off guys like Hernandez and maybe some other guys and pick up a starting pitcher from the White Sox because they really are not playing well. And honestly, watch and see, and you heard it here first, folks, watch and see if the Dodgers don't make a really big play for Paul Skeens from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And of course, Skeens says, well, I don't want to get traded, this, that. Well, guess what, folks? Paul Skeens is from sunny Southern California. In fact, I believe he's from Fullerton. And so that's only about a 30-minute drive from Dodger Stadium. And so it would be rather fitting for Paul Skeens to come home and play for the Dodgers. And so that would be one that I know a lot of people are going to talk about it, but Skeens maintains. He goes, no, I'm a Pittsburgh Pirate. I'm not going anywhere. And the Pirates say we're not going to trade him. Well, guess what? The Pirates are in the toilet right now as well. Are they going to catch the teams ahead of them? They could, but it would take a lot. So if that's the case, so if Paul Skeens happens to go, or if he's even talked about, then you might see a guy by the name of O'Neal Cruz go as well. And O'Neal Cruz is another Swiss Army knife, but the guy is basically a slightly lesser version of Ellie De La Cruz for the division rival Cincinnati Reds. And so O'Neal Cruz could also come over too in a blockbuster trade, but the Dodgers would have to give up something significant to get those two young superstars. But I really think they're going to make a play for Skeens. That makes the most sense to me because, again, he's a local guy, he's a hometown guy, and frankly, I think the Dodgers, if you look at them, the weak spot that they've got, look, their closing is very questionable. I don't think Tyler's that good of a closer. The Dodgers need bullpen help, and they now need starting pitching, and Skeens can go front to back in those games. So he can throw 9 innings, and frankly, he's just one of those guys that could play in any era. I would like to see Skeens get out of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization and win because the guy's a winner. If you haven't seen him, folks, watch him. If you don't have any of his rookie baseball cards, get him because he is the generational pitcher and he is legit. He is the real deal. So let's see what the Dodgers do. I don't care how many times they get hit by this guy, that guy, all these teams. We're going to talk a little bit of standings, division leaders and whatnot, and the Rafi Devers deal when we come back from break. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come. I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hello Americans, it's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time, that's 800-950-2049.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for upcoming guests, our prior guest recorded shows, which can be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer, plus a whole bunch of others. Also, make sure you check out the partners page at thesportscircus.com. Lots of great partners. One of those is our favorite, Al's #1 Italian Beef, 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. And if you can't make it over there for some great food, check them out at alsbeef.com. That's alsbeef.com. Learn about that incredible Italian beef sandwich and all the rest of their food. They are the creators of that incredible sandwich. 117 years ago, the family created it. They've been in business at Al's #1 Italian Beef since 1938. That's incredible. Folks, if you can't make it over there to 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy, check them out again at alsbeef.com and tell them the circus sent you. Yes! All right, welcome back to everybody. You know who you are. Everybody on TV and radio. And hey, listen, folks, in the last segment, we were talking a little bit about the Dodgers and whatnot, and let's shift over to the other coast, and let's have a look at the Boston Red Sox. And, you know, the Fox Sports writers, this one drives me crazy. Here you've got someone named Disha Thosar, who is a writer. She's probably pretty good at it. That's why she's an MLB writer, I guess, for Fox, whatever. But I guess my concern is when you have these writers, just like the writers that vote for the Hall of Fame and all this other crap, when you got these writers that haven't played baseball, and I'm sorry, but I don't believe that Disha Thosar has played Major League Baseball. In fact, I know she hasn't. I don't think she's played minor league baseball. In fact, I'm quite certain of it. Anything before that, maybe she played some other organized ball somewhere. I don't know. But when you get people that are writing about things that they've never participated in, it's awfully hard for the writer to try to imagine what's going on the field, in the clubhouse, in the locker room, etc. And of course, nowadays, they let reporters in the locker rooms, and they even let female reporters in the locker room, which I am absolutely 100% against it. I'm sorry, but I don't believe that female reporters, frankly, I don't think any reporters should be in the locker rooms, let alone female reporters, because guys are walking around with no clothes on, and then they could be accused of things that they didn't even do. And this is how that kind of stuff happens. In fact, I think that there needs to be just a regular schedule where there's a place, there's a press room, whatever, that all the players have to basically walk through, funnel their way through there. And if they get stopped, whatever, by this reporter, that reporter, I think that's fine. But I've been in the locker rooms, and I know what it's like down there. And I got to tell you, folks, it is not pretty sometimes. And, well, let's face it. They say, well, you know, it's not like we haven't seen that before or some crap like that. The problem is it's almost like if you are a reporter and the opposite sex walks by, or hell, even the same sex in some cases, I guess if that particular player, man, woman, whatever, looks at the person or looks at somebody, maybe they're walking around with no clothes on. I'm completely digressing here. But doesn't that turn into trouble or the possibility of trouble? I would imagine, and I remember that even when I was playing. So I'm like, why are you in here? But you can't say that, but you have to be cordial to the press. And so now me as a member of the press, I scratch my head and say, well, why in the world are these people in here? And here now you've got this Disha Thosar writing about Rafi Devers and saying the Red Sox botched the Rafi Devers saga every step of the way. I don't know about that. Let's go ahead and find out what she has to say, courtesy of Fox Sports. And she goes on by saying, even in the earliest days of the season, it seemed like we were in store for a messy breakup at Boston. And of course, Devers said back in May, quote, they put me in this situation. They told me they didn't want me to play any other positions, close quote. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you why, because he's a liability on the field. He's got a good bat, but he's not very good with the glove. Nonetheless, they go on to say the situation Devers referred to was the Boston Red Sox asking him to go from playing third base to designated hitter to first base. That's right. Something the three-time All-Star never seemed comfortable doing. Let's read that again. The situation Devers referred to was the Red Sox asking him to go from playing third, which we knew, to designated hitter, but he wanted to play on the field, and so they stuck him at first base. And first base is a place where you can't make too many mistakes over there. All you got to do is be able to catch the ball for the most part. That's it. Anyway, something, of course, he had never really seemed comfortable doing in the first place. And he didn't mind and mince words when he was asked about ongoing friction, saying it was inappropriate for the Red Sox to keep asking him to switch positions. Well, geez, dude, if they don't have a spot for you, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to be a DH? Well, you don't want to be a DH. You want to be third base, but you're not a good third baseman. So where are you the least trouble on the field? You're either in, well, I would argue in left field, but they'll say right field because they don't get that much the action out there. And to play third base, you got to have a great arm. To play right field, you got to have a great arm, just like center field. Left field is a pretty weak arm, just like second base. Anyway, he just wasn't very comfortable. And of course, he said, quote, now they should do their jobs essentially and hit the market and look for another player. I'm not sure why they want me to be an in-between, close quote. So essentially, he didn't want to be in one spot, then another spot, in between this spot and that spot. And he didn't like the fact that Alex Bregman came over and is the third baseman. And well, Alex is a gold glove third baseman. And he's pretty damn good. And by the way, he's hitting pretty damn good when he's not on the injured list. Anyway, throughout the first part of the season, Devers and the Red Sox tried to make it work, but it was a struggle, according to Disha from Fox Sports. And it showed in the ugly public back and forth. It showed in his body language when he would cross his arms in the dugout, fail to run out ground balls, and engage in tense interactions with manager Alex Cora. But she says this avoidable saga didn't begin this season. It's a culmination of the team's mismanagement of the homegrown star players, leading to the frayed relationship before the end of what's supposed to be a decade-long marriage for the two sides. Okay, so that's what you say. And she says, sounding familiar? That's because we've seen this happen twice before in the last 5 seasons with Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts. And of course, it all led to what went down and in this shocking trade with Devers getting sent to the San Francisco Giants. And of course, CEO Sam Kennedy said, quote, we had a different vision for him going forward than he had, and we couldn't get there. We couldn't find alignment, and we reached that inflection point and made the decision to make a big move, close quote. And so, look, never mind what this Disha, what the heck was her last name? Disha Thosar. All right, we want to make sure we give her credit for this. Never mind the fact that she could chop it up and spin it however she wants to, just so she could sell a story or they could sell a story. I don't know, whoever the heck she works for, whether it's Fox or Major League. I don't know. Apparently she's a writer for Fox Sports. I don't know. The reality is this. When you get somebody who writes a story about something that they don't participate in, it's awfully hard for them to understand the game dynamic in the first place. That's the issue. And so you ask yourself, well, what do we know about her? And so we've actually shifted from Rafi Devers over to her. Why? Because we can. And as I look at it, I say, well, here we've got somebody that we know has not played Major League Baseball, and yet they're offering up an opinion. And this is the part that I don't necessarily like. And so you ask, what do we know about Disha Thosar? So according to the FoxSports.com website, they say Disha Thosar is a Major League Baseball writer for Fox Sports. She previously covered the Mets as a beat reporter for the New York Daily News. The daughter of an Indian immigrant, Disha grew up on Long Island and now lives in Queens. Follow her on social media. No, I don't want to. And I don't care if she's a daughter of this immigrant or whatever. Who the hell cares? What I don't see is any qualification over and above her being a beat writer. And this is the part that I'm having a problem with. So you say, well, maybe you're just hating on her because it's a woman. No, I'm not. I'm not whatsoever. The thing that I want to know is what makes her qualified to work for the New York Metropolitans, what makes her qualified to be a beat writer, what makes her qualified to write for Sports Illustrated. I mean, what do we know about her? And this is the problem, folks. And so now these people are offering up opinions, and as they offer opinions up, you say, well, okay, I think that's great. You're offering an opinion up, but what we don't know is what has she actually done? This is the problem. And it's not just her. It's when you have a sports writer that is writing things about people that are of big profile and they've done a lot. You ask, okay, fine. So she went to Penn State. She's from here. She's a journalism major or whatever. Who gives a damn? What makes her better qualified than the next person? And she's writing about big things that could have a big impact on the listening or viewing or reading audience. And that's not fair. I think, look, they need to make a change. Sorry. That's the trade that should have been from Boston. Back here in a few minutes on the Circus.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 800-335-7196. 800-335-7196. That's 800-335-7196.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
Hey, everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Welcome back to everybody on radio and TV. You know who you are. Everybody streaming. Everybody also on Chicago Food Favorites. Thanks for joining us there. Check that out, folks, on Facebook, Chicago Food Favorites. Post your favorite restaurants, your favorite recipes, your favorite foods. Make some friends, have some fun. Again, Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. All right. Back to this nonsense here. And in the last segment, I was talking about reporters or alleged reporters or staff writers or whatnot for this publication or that publication or this organization or that one. Why is it that people that have never played a sport, at least at the collegiate level or above or whatnot, why are they writing about it? Why is it that they allegedly offer some insight? I was talking about this. Now, I don't know this woman. Apparently, she's done something right because she's got herself working for Fox Sports. And I was looking back at Disha Thosar, who was writing the Rafi Devers situation and the alleged botched Rafi Devers deal, right? And that was, of course, featured on Fox Sports. And look, I don't even care what that article says at this point. I'm going to go back. So she went to Penn State, a journalism major, whatever, activities, and she was with the radio and their TV, whatever. And then 6 months as a sports reporter, as an intern. That's right, as an alleged beat writer. Okay, and then the Daily Collegian. All right, so a writer for various sports and whatnot for their local paper. Sports anchor at PBS. Didn't even know PBS even offered sports. Nonetheless, 5 months there. Moving on, NBA, 6 months there. Somehow, I don't even know how this person got into a content producing gig with the NBA. Not really sure how that one happened, but who the hell knows. Moving on. And then we have, of course, assistant site manager, 6 months. Production assistant, 9 months. Boston Red Sox associate reporter. How the hell does that happen? Right, 3 to 7 stories, whatever, with some kind of a deadline. Full beat reporter responsibilities. I'm looking at LinkedIn, right? And then moving on. And a reporter for Major League Baseball somehow. I don't even know how the hell that happened. How did that happen? Right? There are people that I know that have 5 times more this experience that can't get a gig, and they're pretty damn good. And then, of course, you look back for the Mets, New York Metropolitan's beat reporter. Again, how the hell did that happen? 3.5 years of that. And Fox Sports, 3 years of that. How did that happen from no athletic background whatsoever? I just don't get it. And I'm looking at it, and I say, okay, fine. So you speak, 2 languages. Well, I speak 4 languages. So be it. And, of course, limited working proficiency in another language. Big deal. That's 2.5 languages. Well, if that's the case, I speak 4.5 languages. What about the other people I know that speak 7 languages and they can't get it and they have better credentials? So I guess my question is, why is it that these big organizations will hire people that maybe, I don't know, maybe they fulfill certain internal needs for the organization? I really don't know. I'm not a part of this. I don't know this person either. Maybe she's a pleasant person. Who the hell knows? But what I don't understand is how come that these particular positions through Major League Baseball or through Fox Sports or through this sport company or that organization, whatever, how come they're not necessarily so available to other people. And we'll just leave it like that. Because these positions, as I understand it, my people I know are looking for positions, and they have experience on the field, in the locker room, in the dugout, whatever. And so this person's saying, well, here's my opinion, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a damn about your opinion? Because here's what really goes on here in the Boston Red Sox organization. She says, well, it was a botched deal. Well, and so now damage control by the CEO and president and whatnot of the Boston Red Sox, they say, well, now we have to somehow figure out what to say because this particular person is writing negative stuff about our club. And now you look at the Red Sox starting lineup and you say, well, geez, I don't know, versus right-handed pitching, they look pretty good. Jared Duran, a lefty batter, over in left field. Toro at first. Roman Anthony, the rookie superstar, out in right field. Narvaez, who's a great catcher at this point, and he's hitting lights out at this point. He's the cleanup hitter. Meyer at third, who is a pretty damn good third baseman. He's a young guy, too. He's 22 and a half years of age, drafted the first round, 4th overall a few years back. That's right. Trevor Story at short, a rock-solid shortstop. Hamilton over at second base, and they picked him up from the Milwaukee Brewers, in case you don't know. Even Sedan Raphael, and Raphael is a very, very good one. And folks, if you don't have any of these baseball cards, you better get one. And the same thing with Christian Campbell, a very, very good rookie, drafted in the 4th round a couple of years ago. This kid is good. And so you say, well, what direction are they going? Well, you look at their bench. Their bench has some good players. Connor Wong is their backup catcher, a good one. Nate Eaton, a good utility guy. He's a free agent last year from the Royals. And even Romy Gonzalez, a very good pitcher, or a very good infielder, outfielder. He came from the White Sox a year ago. And Ref Snyder, a very good one that came over from the Twinkies in 2021. That would be the Minnesota Twins, in case you don't know. And so if you look at what they're doing over in Boston, it's obvious to see what they're doing. And look, remember, they have injured players too. Tristan Costas, he's out for the year, and he is their superstar first baseman. Bregman is their third baseman, their Gold Glove third baseman. He is on the injured list, but he's coming back. Willie Abreu, same thing. He's going to come back. He is one hell of an outfielder. He's got a strained oblique. He'll be back. And, of course, Matsusaka Yoshida, a very, very good outfielder as well. Look, they've got some good pieces over there. And in pitching, Cutter Crawford. This guy, unfortunately, is on the shelf. Tanner Hawk's on the shelf. Sandoval's on the shelf. And Winkowski's on the shelf. They've got 5 good pitchers on the shelf. And so, believe me, these guys are good. Oh, and never mind the fact of Liam Hendricks, Jordan Hicks, and Slayton and Birdie. We've got those guys also injured as well. So the Red Sox are certainly good enough, and they're stacked in AAA as well, including their very good infielder Nick Sogard, who's been up and down. Vaughn Grissom, another guy that's been up and down. And that guy came over from Atlanta. So you say, what is Boston doing? Sebi Zavala, another guy that came over as a catcher. They're deep. This Red Sox team is deep. So for this beat writer, to say, well, it was a botched deal, apparently she doesn't know what's in the Red Sox system, even down to AAA, all the way up to the injured list. And it's obvious she's just being told what to write, in my opinion, because as I look at it, I say, well, if she actually knew the team and knew a little bit about baseball, she would understand what the hell the Red Sox were doing and why they made the deal. And by the way, if you're thinking about, well, how did the San Francisco Giants benefit from this? Well, they certainly benefited from it. But I would think, and of course a lot of people don't believe this, but I actually think the Red Sox got the better end of the deal. And I say that because they get to get rid of that gigantic 10-year contract. And they've got guys, yes, that will hit home runs, maybe not as many as Rafi Devers, but they're going to score a lot more runs overall, and they're going to be very dependable. However, the Giants and Zach Manassian Jr. did a really good job over there on their side because they put a nice 3-hole hitter in their lineup. You look at their starting lineup. These guys can hit. Jung Ho Lee leads off at center. At short, it's Willie Adames. And Rafi Devers is a DH and hitting third. Elliot Ramos is hitting cleanup, a very good one. The guy is a 300 hitter. Dominic Smith, of course, he is the first baseman, and he's batting 5th. Batting 6th, Casey Schmidt, third baseman. Batting 7th, Mike Yastrzemski, a very good one. Tyler Fitzgerald batting eighth and playing second base, and of course Andrew Knizner is the catcher. And look, these guys have plenty of depth, being the San Francisco Giants, and they made some good moves too. Of course, they got a really good catcher with Porter, and he's on the bench. Wilmer Flores, of course, an infielder, a utility guy. Christian Koss, infielder, outfielder, another utility guy. And Daniel Johnson, another guy. And don't forget, the rotation is pretty damn good over there, too, with Ray, Root, Birdsong, and Webb. And yes, their bullpen is plenty deep. And remember, they just got rid of Jordan Hicks and sent him over to Boston. Boston could use Jordan Hicks over there. And remember, their injured list, they've got Matt Chapman and Encarnacion over there, too, with Bailey and Murphy. So they've got some guys that are really good on the injured list as well. And don't forget, Justin Verlander's over there, and he's got a strained pectoral. He'll be back as well. And remember, their AAA team is absolutely loaded in San Francisco. So they can afford to give guys up. This was a good trade both ways for the Boston Red Sox and for the San Francisco Giants. The Giants are in a let's win now. Let's get to the wild card right now. The Red Sox, they may be able to do it. You never know. But the Giants are good enough. That is a very good our National League West division. Think the Giants, the Padres, the Dodgers, and geez, who else do we have competing? Oh, yeah. There's a fourth team competing in there that's pretty damn good in the Arizona Diamondbacks. And, of course, you have the doormat being what? The Colorado Rockies. So if you ask why that deal was good, seemingly you can't ask that beat writer, because apparently that particular writer, in my opinion, doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. But then again, that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. She could say the same thing about me. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Sure I do, because I'm a former player, and I know the minor league system, and I understand strategy because I'm a former player. A writer doesn't understand the strategy when you're on the field, in the dugout, in the locker room. It's a very different perspective. And even when you're doing one of these shows, like I'm doing this show, and I'm doing this as a former player. And so my perspective is very different than Joe Blow writer who's never played, never put a jockstrap on in their life, or Josephine Blosephine, same idea. And so you get a very different perspective. When we talk baseball here on this show, even with its world champion baseball analyst Darrell Evans. Darrell's had 40-odd years in the game of baseball. That's all he's ever done in his life. So Darrell's my sidekick when it comes to baseball. And so Blackjack McDowell, we've had him, and Jock Jones, and lots of great baseball players that have been analysts on this show and that participate on the show as well. And I'll tell you what, folks, when you get that kind of analysis, that's why you're tuning in and listening right now. So you can have a sports writer say, well, you know, this is what happened, and here's why it's a botched deal. It's not a botched deal. And I don't care what you say, Disha Dosar, I think that's your name. I don't care what everybody else in the media says. You're wrong! And that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. So anyway, folks, that's my rant on the Boston Red Sox. So, of course, we want to make sure, I'm going to shift to hockey real quick. We want to make sure we congratulate the Florida Panthers for being back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. And, folks, they absolutely earned it. Yes! They absolutely earned it. They absolutely earned it. They punched the Edmonton Oilers in the face. They stole their lunch money. They scored on them, and they hoisted the cup for the second straight year. No, they didn't lift the cup. They hoisted the cup. And that's a beautiful thing in hockey. And they, at this point now, 3 times in the Stanley Cup Finals, they've won the last 2. They are a dynasty, and you could say it. It is what it is. In the modern day, it's hard to be a dynasty in hockey. And good for the Florida Panthers. Once again, a round of applause for them. All right, we're going to see you in about 23 hours. We'll be back here in 23 hours right here on your favorite station. So until then, so long, everybody.
Excellent.
If I was your mother and you had a drug problem, I'd grab you by the ear and make you call and get help. You can be in treatment tomorrow and start to get clean in 7 days. Follow Mom's advice and call the Detox and Treatment Helpline now. Write this number down.
800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. That's 800-814-8628.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.